our final video of this series, we're going to be talking about dispense and the various taps available. So here we have a few different options of serving directly from a keg. I'm going to start simple and move on to just a little bit more complicated. This is what's generally known as a party tap, or in some circles a cobra tap. Very basic principles, just a thumb operated tap. Now these have in the past got a little bit of a bad rep for serving beer that's far too foamy, not being able to serve a decent pint with this type of tap. Now we've come up with a solution where they actually serve a brilliant pint. We've had to splice in some 3/16, some narrower gauge beer line. Now this will create a little bit of back pressure on the line and it cuts out the fobbing. Now as standard, we supply this is our premium party tap line. As standard, we supply this with 2 meters of 3/16 beer line. Now it might be that for your particular pour, it's a little slow. If that's the case, just cut some of the 3/16 line out, so lessen the amount of 3/16 line in there, and you'll see it pours faster. And again, just works exactly the same as all the other John Guest fittings. So hold the collar in, pull the line out, push the line in for a nice gas tight fitting. This is the end that obviously goes into your keg, and we're simply utilising another John Guest fitting. Pushes on straight onto your corny keg. There's an option for using a bit of a fancier product, which is this. Now this is a stainless steel known as a beer gun. This is a top-notch product and feels really weighty in your hand. So when you're serving beer at a barbecue, anyone can grab hold of this, serve themselves a beer and a pint, and it's a real fancy bit of kit. And again, very simple. Just heat the beer line up, push it onto the barb. This is 3/8 beer line. Push fits on, job done. Moving on from that, we can actually serve directly from a keg using an actual tap. So black disconnect goes on the out of the keg, simply screws into the back. Now you can see that's ended up in the wrong position, so if that's the case, simply undo this collar, turn it around so it's in the correct plane. Just while I'm doing this, I'm just going to show you what we've got here. So we've got teeth here and the opposite on the actual body of the tap. So you can see when I put it together, it won't turn. So it's quite an important note. And then just do this collar up. Relatively tight. We're talking about fittings that are nice and soft, so you don't have to go crazy. Now this will just push onto the outpost of your corny keg and away you go. This tap is not suitable for delivering lagers or beers where you've got a high level of carbonation. You will struggle with this one and with anything highly carbonated. Okay, so here we've got various different options of taps to make a kegerator or a keezer or bar. Just depends on what application that you're going to use. We'll talk about the actual body of the taps first. So these two here look very, very similar. The only difference is that one is completely stainless steel, so you can see that there. So it says stainless steel. That's a completely stainless steel tap, so everything that touches the beer is stainless steel on that one. In this one here, this is it says PC on it, so it's a chrome plated brass version. Both exactly the same in their workings, simply this one's chrome plated brass and this one is stainless steel. Now they do, for the stainless steel version, they do an option which is a flow control. So actually I should be able to show you here. So if you move the lever, you can see the restrictor moving in and out. That actually puts some restriction in the tap to help reduce what we call fobbing, the foaming. So that will help if you're serving a variety of different types of beer. Each one of these taps has a removable spout, so you can take this off and it can actually be replaced with a couple of different versions. Firstly, we have this is what we call a growler filler spout. You simply screw it on and it fits our 1/2 inch platinum cured silicone tubing. Push that on there and then you'll be able to put this tube in all the way down to the bottom of a growler, or indeed a bottle, and make sure there's no oxygen pickup. We also have what we call a stout spout. So this has a restrictor plate in it. So this again simply screws on, and when you pour the beer, because of that restrictor, actually causes the beer to fob, which is what you want. Create tiny little bubbles in the beer, creates a bigger head, perfect for delivering authentic style stouts. Okay, so here we've got options for connecting the body of the tap to some sort of shank for dispense. We'll start with the long shank now, 100mm stainless steel, fully stainless steel shank. Can be placed through a piece of wood, through a fridge door, or really any other application that requires a gap between the beer line and where the actual body of the tap's going to be. So you've got 100mm there to play with. Simply connects to the body of the tap using the same system that we've already seen. So you've got the teeth on there, connects in, does up as so. Now we can add in here a spring. Now this spring will only work with the non-flow control taps. This won't work with the flow control taps. And there's one important way that the spring has to go in. So if you see, it's slightly conical, the spring. Let's pick that up on the video. The widest end of the spring needs to go inside the body of the shank. A little bit fiddly, but we can do that up. So now we will have a tap that automatically springs back. You can see that, pick that up on the video. Sometimes you need to make some adjustment. The adjustment wheel is this one here, slackens it off or tightens it up. If I tighten it all the way up, you can see that it doesn't slip back. If I undo it slightly, there we go. Now these long shanks have a removable barb. This barb is suitable for 5/16 beer line, which is slightly an unusual size in the UK. So this 5/16 line does push fit onto the barb on the back. Now you'll need to again keep this 5/16 beer line in hot water just so it slips on completely. We also sell the converters, so these John Guest fittings, so they go from 5/16 line to 3/8 beer line, or indeed 5/16 line to 3/16 line, so any combination we can swap between. Another way is to, because this barb is removable, we can take it off completely and replace it with a standard John Guest fitting. So it's a 5/8 thread. Simply screw it on, and then we're straight onto 3/8 beer line coming out the back of the tap, and again just a straight push fit into 3/8 beer line. Another option we have is what we call the short shank. There's a couple of things to note about this. So it does up exactly the same way as the long shank, straight onto the tap, onto the body of the tap. Now with these, you've got 6mm to play with, so as long as what you're trying to go through is less than that, you can use these short shanks no problem at all. So it will go through. Some people use a piece of metal to create a keezer. That would be no problem to go through a 6mm gap. The important thing to note about these short shanks is that, unlike the long shank, this barb is welded, so it doesn't come off. So it forces you to use this 5/16 beer line. And again, just pushes onto the heat the beer liner, push it onto the barb to create a seal. But like I say, that does not come off that barb, so there's no option for using a John Guest fitting on there. Here you'll be able to actually see it in how it actually works in action. So here we've got what we call a tower. Now these come in single, double and triple tap varieties, and obviously you can put whatever tap you like on the front end. So you can use the flow control, you can use the stainless steel, or you can use the chrome plated brass. So these are quite simple how these work. Got a nice cap here. Just take that off, and if I point that down there, you can see how the inside of the barbs work. If I show you the bottom, so that you would mount on top of a fridge, so you need to drill a hole in the top of the fridge and have it sat on top of the fridge like that, and there's this nice bezel here which comes down and covers the holes here. Just screws into the top of the fridge using 4 self tappers, and then the bezel slips down. Lastly, we just need to talk about the handle options. So the taps do not come with handles. We leave it up to the customer to decide which handle they want. We do the round one. As such, they just screw on. Very simple, dead easy to change. Or we do the long one. Again, just screw straight on, easy to change.